My name is Marcus, and this is my second podcast. Today I'm with Mrs. Burke. Mrs. Burke, would you like to tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I am Catherine Burke. I am Marcus's orchestra teacher, and I'm a violinist, and I teach orchestra at Herrick's High School, and I'm the director of strings, I think is my title, at New York State Summer School of the Arts, NISA, and I do a lot for MIO, the Metropolitan Youth Orchestra, as well. So I kind of live my best musical life.
So, what have you been doing during quarantine?
Like since March or over the summer?
We can start with like March.
Because it's been kind of like a journey, let me tell you. So when it was like the second or third week of March when we left in-person school and went into quarantine's not really the right word, but let's just say quarantine because that's what everyone says. And all of the teachers were, you know, freaking out as aside from just being scared and sort of stressed in general, like I think we all were, we and I speak for like all teachers everywhere, but I think that we all still like really cared about wanting to be doing something valuable, and especially as a music teacher, music is so often the first thing to like get cut or go by the wayside, and so I just like I had this like internal struggle of like how can I stay relevant, and even if like my assignments aren't the most amazing meaningful assignments that I've ever given, how can I just keep this going because I have a really good thing going at Eric's. I hope you think so. I'm here, so I guess I do. And I was like, I need this to keep going as much as possible. So I started a public Instagram, my teacher gram, and I just started creating random things. And it started out as like this intention to stay connected with the students and to kind of like meet you guys on a social media platform that was similar because like I'm too old for TikTok, but I was like, okay, like Instagram, like I can do that, like 30s, you're not too old to be on Instagram, it's fine. So I was like, okay, and I can just throw stuff up on Instagram that I think is funny. Maybe just keep everyone. I wanted all of my students to see me still doing music every day, even if instead of playing the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto, I was playing a Beach Boys tune on the kazoo, And I just it started out as like this very noble. I told all my friends, I was like, I just want my students to see me making music every day, and then very quickly it just turned into like a very sort of like self thing for me. And it ended up being something that I realized that I was doing for myself more than anything because I went to work every day and did the best job ever. I did, orchestra music. And then my nights were spent doing orchestra music. Like I would gig at night and play in orchestras and symphonies, and it's a great life, but this was just everything disappeared. Just like that. And what I found was that like I woke up in the morning and I wanted to like, oh my gosh, I want to play that Britney Spears song, and I want to play the kazoo, and I want to try all these different experiments. I want to figure out how to clone myself in a video. I want to go buy a green screen. I want to like actually learn how to do all this stuff. And so I started, and I couldn't stop. Like I kind of became addicted to the point where I was posting like a video a day of me doing something, and I loved it and it was great. And then by the time June came and school kind of actually came to a close, I was burnt out, like super burnt out. And I didn't even touch my violin, I think, until like the first 3 weeks of July. I like didn't even touch my instrument. I was just like, and it sat there in its case, unpacked. Like I didn't even pack it up. I left it there. Like the option was open. I gave it to myself, but I just needed like a break, and that's something that's very hard for me, and I think for a lot of musicians at any level, high school or collegiate, professional. It's very hard to allow yourself to take a break from that, especially when I had been going so hard at projects, and I'm not used to not having projects, so I kind of gave myself like a 3 week, I say detox, but it actually wasn't relaxing at all. It was like a really not relaxing 3 weeks, but I did kind of give myself some time. And of course, when I got back into it, you can't see right now because I look like I'm in Carnegie Hall, but this is my green screen behind me. I'm touching it. It's very exciting. So I have all these like, you know, all these new technological pursuits that I'm gonna hopefully get back into once we get rolling. But I think I'm finally ready for it again. And anyway, that was kind of the emotional journey of pandemic music making in this household.
Yeah. So I've been looking at your Instagram. It's really impressive. Um,
It's a lot.
I was wondering like if you give some tips on like how to build like confidence, maybe like
How to what?
how to like build confidence, like posting and like doing whatever.
I wish I had like any like actual real advice. I think for me, I mean, my personal hurdle was just getting over this like if you put something out into the world, it better be really good kind of mentality and like, I kind of walk around with a very perfect it's weird because it's like I'm very like YOLO, just go for it. That's like my life philosophy is like just go for it musically, just go for it, never hold back, don't do that thing where you play shy. But then when it comes to sort of PR and like actually like putting your stuff out there for the world, that was definitely something that I had to kind of get over. And I did it like cold turkey. I was like, okay, you're just gonna do it, like you're just gonna post whatever you make, you're gonna post it. And um and I just committed. I was like, you know what, post something every day, like see what happens. And there were some days when I got really busy with like actual work, and I just like posted like a funny meme that I found because I was like, I gotta put something up. And so I had like a carefully curated like memes folder on my phone, and anytime I found something even remotely amusing, I would save it in the memes folder, and then I'd be like, save it for a rainy day. So I think there's the quantity and the quality always, and you're like, sometimes there's something to be said for just sheer quantity, as long as it's not something that's like annoying, like you want people to want to watch and you want to keep them coming back. So if you wait for too long, like I've waited, like it's been a while since I posted anything, so I'm going to have to like get everyone back to kind of following me again in the fall. But I think that like, you put out like a variety of things. Like as a musician, I wanted to put out stuff that was legit. So every so often I'd like, pull up a piano accompaniment and play like, some Shostakovich, chamber music with friends and put that up there and be like, oh yes, I can really play and this is great and this is what I practice for. And then like with a nice mix of things that people maybe wouldn't have expected. And every so often I would, you know, want to splice like the goat screaming over Taylor Swift. And I tried to do a lot. I tried to vary it. And mostly, I think I tried to just stay very true to like myself, like my own sense of humor, like things that I found funny. And my husband was making fun of me the other day because he's like, you have a very specific sense of humor. And like it's not like, he's like, I don't think people get it the way you think they get it. And I was like, they get it, it's fine. But like I figured if it was something that I personally thought was funny, like when you laugh at your own joke, I was like, well then it goes up. If I think it's funny, then I'm gonna put it up. So I just kind of stuck to that, and I'm going to continue to stick to that in the future and just see how it goes.
So are you planning to like expand on this account and like probably make it bigger?
Yeah, for sure. I think like I needed, just with like the world and everything that happened, and work kind of getting in the way too, because as you know, NISA was canceled this summer, which would have been 4 weeks of like very intensive work for me. And so I thought I would have that time. But then I was very lucky. I was hired by Mayo, by the Metropolitan Youth Orchestra, to run their virtual Summerfest. So the free time that I thought I had got like vacuumed up very quickly, and I kind of threw my entire life into that project. And it was really intense. It was 2 weeks of a program, but it was like 2 weeks prep leading up to it as well. And then when we came back, now it's like now we're prepping for school. So now like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, we have to go back to school, and no one really knows what this is going to look like. And it's we have more questions than answers always, because that's, no one's dealt with this before. So I think that I keep on telling myself like, okay, once you get through the past 2 weeks of school, once everything calms down, like then you can start like letting the creative side kind of flow again. And I really hope that that actually happens because it actually really did bring me a lot of joy. But I do think that like it does take a lot of time. Like it really does to create at that level, like because once you get good at video editing, you don't want to do anything less than like a really good video. So we'll see. I want to say yes. I want to say I'm going to go hard, but I feel like I might ease myself back. Well, it depends.
In terms of the video editing, like, are you self-taught? Like, how did you become so good at it?
Yeah, 100% self-taught. And you can tell if you like scroll back at my Instagram because you can see the videos like gradually getting way better. Like they started like 20-second clips using just the acapella app. And then I started wanting to do virtual ensembles for school. And so I had to like teach myself how to use a new editing program. But this is actually funny. I didn't have a computer because my computer had died like back in the fall and I never replaced it because I had my iPad at home and then I had my school computer, like my desktop at work, and between the two of those, it's like I never was like I was like, "Oh, I'll just replace the computer at some point. Like it's not a big deal." Like so I didn't have a laptop. So here I am now, quarantined, needing to teach virtually and wanting to make all these cool projects, and I didn't have a computer, so I couldn't use any of like the, I couldn't use Logic, I couldn't even use GarageBand, like I couldn't use anything, I couldn't use Audacity. So I found an app that I could just use on my iPad called KineMaster, and I just became obsessed with it. And I started with string quartets, and then I kind of made all of our virtual orchestras for school, and doing that really because like there were timelines and there was stuff that had to get done not just for me but for other people, so I learned really quickly. And I was just really persistent. I was like, you know what, I don't want to be one of those adults who's like, can you show me how to do this? Like, I don't, can someone just teach me how to use this technology? Like one day I probably will be like that, but I hope it's like when I'm 70, because right now I was like, you can just Google this and teach yourself and learn. And I did. And the funny thing I realized in doing that is how unwilling so much of the population is to do that. Because once I taught myself to do this, and like I'm not even good. I'm like anyone who actually knows what they're doing with video editing, sound editing, and ensemble production would be like, oh, look at this cute little like kindergartner who made a video. That's like the level of what I'm doing. But it's certainly good enough. I mean, it's just like, unless you're a professional, you're like, that's amazing. And so many of my colleagues were like, that's amazing. And so I ended up teaching other people. And so what I did spend my summer doing actually was I created an entire course. It's a video course. It has like almost 2 hours of instruction segmented into tutorials. And I wrote out a full course guide. It's like 60 pages. I'm not even kidding. This is what I spent July doing. And I actually ran a couple of sessions of like professional development teaching other teachers how to use KineMaster, because what I learned from like Googling and being persistent, it turns out that like, I don't know, like a lot of people want to like kind of like have their hand held a little bit more. So I created something and it actually, people seem to like it. So I don't know. I was like, well, I know this now, so I might as well teach it to other people.
Yeah. I was wondering, like, how long does your editing process take? 'Cause, like, when I edit my videos, like, I think that I edited like this one project I did. I had like there's like three dances I put into one video, and then like it took me kind of an hour. I don't know if that's
That's
long.
pretty good
Yeah, so
for 3 videos.
I was trying to sync up the music and and everything like go together, and then thankfully it it all came together. So that's good.
It's funny. I mean, like, I don't pretend to dance like you dance, but every so often, Adam and I will do like a hilarious, like, sort of like old school, like cardio dance kind of routine with music. And so when we do that, we always just film it, like, just using my phone to play the music, and then I'll download the music and I'll do that. I'll try to sync them up with each other. And it's actually, well, it's very similar to like watching kids bows and trying to like sync up a video with music that way. So I was kind of like used to that, but it takes time and it gets faster the more you do it. It really does. But in the beginning, it's like, because like you line up the big beats, but then it's like, then you're like scanning out and like micro adjusting, and you really want like that like elbow to hit like exactly on the angle. And and so yeah, I can very much empathize, but it's a noble pursuit, and it gets easier the more you do it.
So what else have you been doing to stay fit with your husband?
Basically, just that. So, for those of you who don't know, my husband is a trainer. So, I can't get away with not working out. That's like not a thing. But I say that like he makes me. But at this point, like it's such a part of my life that I don't think I could not do it. Like if he was here or not. Like if he went away on a trip, like I would still do it every day. But we were doing this program through Beachbody called 6 Weeks of the Work, and we started in I guess it was like late June, and it took us through. We just finished like last week, and it was the craziest thing I've ever done. And I've done a lot of different workout programs. I've been like, I cycle because I get bored and then I have to like do something else. So it's like I'll do a dance based program, and then I'll be like, no, now I need to do boxing, and then so I'll do boxing for like 6 weeks, and then I'll be like, okay, well now I need to just like I'm gonna run. And so in June was running for me. I was like, I'm gonna be a runner, and I like bought brand new running shoes, and I was running, and every day in June I like ran at least the 5K, if not more. And then in July, we were doing this. I got really into lifting for a while, and I was like deadlifting, like legit. It was, it was two plates. Like I was lifting. Like I wasn't just like dabbling. There was like a good portion where I like bought myself a belt, like a really nice high quality deadlifting belt, and we were like, it was very intense. We put on gangster rap and like lifted. That's like what we did on Saturdays. But this was like more of just like an athletic program. Like the trainer is someone who works with like NBA players. So I want to say functional training, but then I don't want anyone to think I do CrossFit. So not like it's functional training, but not what you think of when you hear functional training. But it was like a lot of weights sort of mixed with like a lot of agility and endurance kind of stuff, and it was insane, absolutely insane. The last workout was a Friday. It's called the Crucible, and it was 800 reps. So you did 100 reps of 8 moves. And the moves were like not regular moves, they were like compound moves. So like you had your feet on sliders, you go to do a burpee like with a full tricep push up, and then you slide up, stand up, but your feet are on sliders. So you're like unstable the whole time. I only did 75. I did not do 100. Adam did 100, but he almost threw up. And that's what we did. We did that. And those were like 50-minute workouts every day. And on Sunday, we were supposed to do recovery work, like foam rolling and stuff, and I never did. And so now I hurt all over everywhere because I never did my proper recovery. So for those of you who work out, foam roll. Do as I say, not as I do.
I was wondering also, like, what are some activities you do to like help yourself stay relaxed or like unwind?
I don't really. It's kind of a problem. Yeah, no, I struggle with that. I really do. I think I'm hyper. I've always been hyper. Um, everyone's like teachers have the summers off. This is the most off of a summer I've ever had since I since I started teaching, and I still managed to get myself a new job. So it's like I just because I find that when I get bored, I just become like I can relax for like a day. I can take like a day where I'm like, let's let's like watch all the stuff on Netflix we never did. Let's like order pizza. And it's like one like very lazy, stereotypical, like let's stay in and be lazy kind of day. And then the next day, like I'll wake up and like I'll want to start something, and I'll want to start a project, and it's hard. So like for us, like we took like a little 4-day getaway up to New Hampshire because I was trying to find somewhere we could go where we could like be outside because I felt like I was stuck inside so much with the virtual teaching, and I wanted to be able to like hike a mountain and stuff, but so many states had travel restrictions. So I was like, okay, we can either go to Vermont, upstate New York, or New Hampshire. So we went to New Hampshire, we hiked a mountain, and we came back. And then like the very next day we came back, I started working again. So I think that if I like manage to leave my house, I can relax somewhere else.
Hmm.
But especially when we started working from home, like home is no longer separate from relaxing anymore. So it's like I don't think of my desk where I am right now as like a relaxing space in my home. I'm just kind of like, oh, I can work here too. Great. So, you know, adults don't have it all figured out. I have not figured out how to properly relax, and it My husband is helping. He's way better at relaxing than I am, and he tries to like shut the computer and be like, stop now. But it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah. So do you like prefer to just do like activities or like try new things?
Yeah, I'm definitely like more of the adventurous person. Like that was the other thing. Like so we went up to New Hampshire and he wanted to like sit around in New Hampshire on like one of those like Adirondack chairs and like just like look at the view. And I can do that for about 10 minutes. And then I'm like, okay, so we're gonna go hiking? Do you wanna go down to the lake? Do you wanna go kayaking? What if we went here? What if we went there? And I like it happens so fast. Um, and I've always been that way. Like I have to have an itinerary. Like I want to get it all done. I want to try new things. I want to go travel. I want to explore. It's very hard for me to like stay put. So, but I did. I gave him one day where we stayed put, and I think I was probably like really fidgety. And honestly, and this is not something I'm proud of, but I think I was probably like while we were sitting there, I think I was just like scrolling social media the whole time. Like I think I was like a phone addict in that moment in like the worst kind of millennial way.
How have you been finding like organizing your schedule each day?
That I'm good at. So, like I have no problem like waking up like I mean at this point like summer waking up early is like 8 a.m. Like during the year I usually wake up at 5:30, so like in the summer I wake up at 8 and I'm like, "Oh my god, I slept in." But I naturally like wake up when the sun's up. So I wake up, I get up, I make coffee, I make breakfast, I like check my emails, and then like now that school's starting, I just like immediately start doing something. So it's like actually like right here, to-do list, right? And it's just like every day I update the to-do list. The only problem is that I write a to-do list on whatever paper is closest to me and then things get moved. So I think I have like 15 different to-do lists in like different locations. But somehow everything gets done. And yeah, and I will like cuz like, I think it helps also like knowing that I'm going to have my daily workout and like making sure that that's planned in advance because it's less likely to happen if you're like, "Oh yeah, we'll just work out later." It's like, "No, what time later are we going to make sure we get our like endorphins, our physical activity in?" And then I can schedule back from there. And once the school year starts, it's like super easy to be in a routine, even if the routine is like weird and different. Like I can adapt to a routine, but I have to set a routine for myself. But that's just me. People are different. My husband is like wildly different than that. So
Have you had like a set routine like since lunch and like how do you like stay like motivated? Like um is it like your mindset that motivates you or is it like something?
I think for me, and this is like a very personal, like a personal motivation, but I have like a need to be seen. That sounds like very bad and weird, but I think it's important that we're honest about like our own like who we are, like know thyself, and I know that I'm one of those people that like you hand me a microphone and I'm like, "Hello, now I'm happy," and it's like the spotlight and I just like I do well with that. I am a quintessential extrovert. Like I know a lot of people who are socially extroverted, but really they're introverts. Like they need to be alone and have alone time in order to recharge. I am not that. I'm like literally actually an extrovert. Like I feel better when I'm around people, which is so quarantine was like a little hard for me because I really miss just like the energy. It's like I talked like obviously like most of my friends are music teachers and some of them really love teaching privately because they love that one-on-one connection and they're good at it and they thrive off of that sort of like personal, not that like teaching a larger group isn't personal, but you know what I mean. It's like that one-on-one, and I thrive off of like a horde. Like I want a mob. Like give me like 200 kids and put them in front of me and that is like ideal. That's great. So so that's something that you know, it's something that I miss and something that I'm definitely looking forward to having again, even in a truncated way. Now that I think about it, I'm getting sad, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, so for me, like during my quarantine, like I was motivated to like my own Instagram and like explore my own passions, like through dancing, playing the viola, and even cooking. So I just wanted to like improve myself both like on like like improve myself like with confidence, like what I'm doing right now. I'm talking. Uh,
Yes,
and
yes, putting
so
it out there.
yeah, and also like improving on my ability to dance and like play viola. And I'm just like it's just really nice to see like improvement and yeah,
I think it's such a nice way to track it too. Like,
yeah,
like for me, it's like I want to be out there. I want to have a platform. I want people to see me. I want to interact with people. And if I can't be interacting with people in person, I want to feel seen on social media. But like for you, it's more of like an intrinsic, which it sounds like, just like actually like wanting to be able to see some sort of concrete improvement in yourself, which is a really admirable, like beautiful thing. And it can be very scary, but like you're going to be able to look back and kind of like scroll back in the feed and see how much better you've gotten at multiple pursuits, and that's like really incredible.
thank you. I was wondering, like, what are your favorite foods to eat?
Oh gosh. Like I'll eat anything. I guess I will say we've been making a lot of pizza. I don't know if it's just a phase or if this is like the rest of my life, but we've been like making pizza once a week and it's been very enjoyable. Like making our own, like making the crust, like we have a pizza stone and like, like making the chicken, like putting eggplant on it and just like putting random toppings on. So it doesn't really come out like pizza. It's like more like a healthy homemade pizza, and it's also like this high because like we put toppings on it like up to here. But we have been making a lot of pizza with our pizza stone. So I'll say that for right now. It'll change, but pizza. What about you?
My favorite food, I like noodles, like any type of noodles, like
I had
ramen.
ramen for lunch, so I'm feeling that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So do you have any other questions for me?
I have a lot of questions for you, but I feel like I need another half hour to ask you questions. I feel like you asked me questions, and now. So, how would you describe the kind of dance that you are like working toward, or like your favorite kind of dance? I'm not sure what I'm asking, but like, if you had to label your dance style.
So I've been recently working on freestyle dance. So it's a way to like express yourself and like it's not really choreographed. It's just like a way to feel the music in a way.
Is that like a branch of modern dance, would you say? Like, I mean, but like not like a don't think like modern dance is like a trained classical situation, but just kind of like I don't know what I'm asking.
Yeah, it's kind of modern. Like a lot of people I've seen on Instagram, like they post a lot of videos of them like dancing to like songs, but like they don't even choreograph it. They just do it on the spot.
So how do you pick like what music you're going to dance to?
Like I don't know. I use Spotify, so I listen to a lot of rap and like hip hop music, and I honestly just feel that I can dance a lot to songs that have like a really good beat.
Not like the Hindemith Viola Sonata.
Yeah,
Because I would love to see a freestyle of that. That could go viral. That could have some serious like. It's a very it's like a niche market, but it's a very intense market of people that would enjoy that.
you remember me? I posted for one of the assignments. I did the book romance, and then I had the four things.
I do remember the box of the day. Yes. I think you even like. I think you got your sister in one too.
Wait, did I?
Yeah, I have to go back and look through it now because I saved all of those. Every time one of those assignments came in with like people doing funny things, I was like, oh, I gotta save this because then I'll have it when you guys graduate, and I can be like, remember when?
Yeah, so that dance I did there was not really choreographed. I just like listened to the music and then I just moved my body.
Now I have to go back and watch it because I remember like seeing it, but now I want to like go back and like fully appreciate. maybe maybe we'll make you do that this year. Like maybe whatever we do, whatever we figure out for music, we'll just be like, okay, and Marcus, your assignment is to freestyle this. And we'll just do that instead. It's as good idea as any other idea I've had.
Okay, so to conclude, I want to say thank you, Mrs. Burke, for your time. And I look forward to working with you in Chamber Orchestra.
Me too. I can't wait. Thank you for having me. I feel very flattered.